Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Mountain Murders sometime this week.
Yeah, let's just start calling it that.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, baby.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
That's excellent.
I'm not even just saying that. I'm doing really good. I feel great. Had a blast with you last night. We saw a little live music. We needed that in our life for sure. Saw some incredible bands. And here we are. And I'm so excited for today's Sometime This Week episode because it is going to be a blast. It's going to be funny. Blast may be the word of the day for me. I might use it again. And Heather has some really great listener stories in the vault and some real gems. And I don't even know where you want to start.
We for sure do. Dylan, you mentioned live music. Now, here's the thing. I've come to realize.
We keep figuring this out as we go along.
I had an epiphany last night. What happens when you're like the aging punk rocker?
Yeah, and you're still
Okay.
trying to live that punk rock lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to find after standing near the mosh pit. No, we're not going to be in the mosh pit.
We decided before
We're too old to mosh.
We didn't even want to accidentally. And that's what happens to me. I've never sought the mosh pit out because honestly, I don't want to hurt people. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to get hurt because I'm clumsy. And we always say when we go in, we try to scope it out and don't end up in the mosh pit accidentally, because this has happened to me at multiple punk shows across multiple different venues. And it's scary because you're standing there trying to have your cold beer.
Once you lost your shoe?
And once I come out, I lost my shoe. And then I did have, and sometimes the people are being a little extra, and like you have to get rough with them just to get out of there.
I am excited that the younger gen
Still doing it.
Them youngins is keeping it alive.
Me too.
That the mosh pit is not something that has fallen by the wayside like so many other things.
I like to watch it from a dark corner.
Exactly. Okay, so I got that going on. On top of the fact that apparently standing for prolonged periods of time in boots,
i.e. more than 30 minutes.
makes my low back hurt.
Yes, it does. But you're cute.
And
You're
the only
cute.
lines I'm doing in the parking lot are lines of goodie powder.
Yeah, and we have medical care kits in the car, consisting of ibuprofen, some arthritis cream, various hot and cold patches.
Yes.
For your direct
Yes.
muscle control.
That's true.
And of course, headache medicine, because one of us is going to get a headache. And and comfy shoes that we change into as soon as we get back to the car. Back into the Crocs, back into the slippers. Now, I guess Heather's conundrum here is, does this mean you're too old to go to punk? Or is this just the evolution of an aging punk?
I think it's the evolution of the aging punk, Dylan.
I think you still get to go to the show, but you do need to bring this equipment with you. It's almost like
you got to be prepared.
You've regressed back to having children when you drag all the stuff around for kids. You need an adult diaper bag, if you will.
I've become your adult child, and you need to tend to me when we go to a concert. Not to mention that I'm deaf in one ear today. I feel like I may have permanent hearing loss in my left ear.
What'd you say?
I was right up against that speaker, and maybe that's not a good idea. I'm too old for that.
We should have been back a little bit, but you know what? We had to go to where we could sit.
And I didn't even drink last night, and I feel like I have a hangover today.
It's called a fun hangover. Yeah.
Was it like up past my bedtime?
Yeah, we left a little early.
Standing?
As we're wont to
I don't know
do.
about standing for prolonged periods of time.
We did see amazing bands.
You know, I headbang. Now it causes me neck pain. I don't know.
I saw OTEP for the first time.
Oh, man,
Incredible.
they were a great band.
Incredible group. We saw Nice Doyle. Great band I'd seen before, the Muddy Roots, and a couple of other bands, Red Devil Vortex.
Oh, yeah, they were badass.
And
I like their shtick.
their shtick.
They kind of had like a 70s.
They had an old school
kind
stick.
of shtick. Didn't you think so?
I appreciated the fact that they were keeping that alive
No,
in
I liked
punk,
it.
and they really were leaning
Yeah,
into
they had
it.
kind of like an old school rocker shtick going on.
Yeah.
It's kind of late 70s Black Sabbath influence or something.
Totally. So it was so cool to see these modern punk bands, when they're heavily influenced by certain parts of the genre, and they're keeping those parts of the genre alive. And my low back's hurting now, so here we are.
Gosh.
All right.
Middle age, bud.
That's right.
It's like a whole new experience.
All right, so that's why I'm so excited. We're a little beat up from the punk show that we have a listener stories episode.
Oh, Dylan, we have some gems. We really do. I'm excited. I'm ready to talk about these stories. There are a few that are going to blow your mind. I can think of one in particular that had me rolling like I was Limp Bizkit.
Heather was telling me about these. She
I was
couldn't
rolling,
wait.
rolling, Dylan down the floor, laughing. Anyway.
Yeah, breathe in and breathe out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Heather couldn't wait. She was telling me about some of these last night just from having perused them. And so let's get into it.
Are you ready?
There's nothing holding us back.
Oh, gosh, except for air and opportunity. Let's do it.
Air and opportunity.
Okay. Hi, Dylan and Heather.
Hey.
I'm Lena.
Hey, Lena.
I've been meaning to write into you guys for a while. I've been a fan for quite a while now, and you've gotten me through too many work days to count. I believe I have a decent listener story that my mom and I were just talking about the other day, and it reminded me to write in. So when this all occurred, I was around 7 years old. I lived in a quiet neighborhood, and it's important to note that when my siblings who were all considerably older than me were growing up, our neighborhood was filled with kids to play with, and I had always heard stories of the fun my siblings had around our neighborhood and was always bummed that all those kids had moved away, and now the neighborhood was quiet and I rarely saw people outside.
Wow, so now everyone's aged a little bit. Those kids have grown and gone into their lives, and now you're left with an older neighborhood. Older folks.
I believe they call it established.
Well, the folks are older in life, and they're just nice to take it easy. And there's no kids to play with.
You're saying like us. These are folks who might do a line of goody powder in the car.
I'm like you young
and punks. By do a line, I mean I'm swigging it back with my water.
You young punks, get off my grass.
One day, I was playing in my backyard with my dog when I saw a little boy around my age in the neighbor's backyard. I knew my neighbor had gotten a new girlfriend and heard my parents talking about how she would be moving in soon with him. I just assumed this boy was the woman's son or something, but I didn't put much thought into it because I was simply elated that there was another kid in my neighborhood to play with. I began playing with this boy. He never came into my yard, but we'd play along the fence and make potions out of dirt and all that normal kid stuff. Look, I loved to make potions when I was Did you ever do this, Dylan?
I made a few. Mine might have been more of a mud slurry, but certainly was a potion of sorts.
A mud slurry?
Yes.
What's a slurry?
A slurry is basically, I don't know if it's technical definition, is something that is a mixture. It's not quite liquid. It's not quite solid.
A slurry?
Yes, it's a rather thick consistency.
I just learned something new today.
The viscosity could be in question.
I had no idea what a slurry was.
Yeah.
I thought that was something you made after a few beers.
Well, I've made a slurry statement or two in my day.
You have. Now, another important note is that I was very outgoing and chatty child. I imagine probably like you, Dylan.
Oh, I was a very quiet kid.
I don't believe it.
Very reserved.
I doubt it. I don't think you've ever known a quiet day in your life.
That's true.
It hadn't even drawn on me back then that this kid never spoke. I never heard him make a peep other than a giggle. I most definitely did enough talking for the both of us, which is actually how most of my friendships as a child went. LOL. Again, Dylan, I think she's speaking to you directly.
Lena's my spirit animal.
Playing with him became a normal weekly occurrence. One day, I was with my mom at CVS picking up her prescription in the line, which was rather long. I had to go to the bathroom, which was directly to the left of the pharmacy inside the CVS. My mom sent me to the bathroom, and when I went inside, the little boy was standing there. I immediately felt incredibly uneasy and a feeling I will never forget. I didn't know what to do or why I was there, and for the first time, I heard him speak. All he said was, "Hello."
Oh, damn. Was he Barry White?
Yes.
Hey, girl, what you doing?
But it was that moment I knew he was not human. The words sounded as if they came from much further away than the 5 feet that was between us, although I had seen his mouth move and knew it came from him. Before I knew it, I had rushed out of the bathroom and ran to my mom. I don't remember much other than the interaction with the boy, but my mom describes this part in great detail every time we talk about it. She said my face was pale with pure panic, and I ran to her telling her the boy was in the bathroom. She knew I had been playing outside with someone, but admittedly, I did have imaginary friends, and she assumed this was one of those instances up until that point.
Oh my gosh, this is taking a bit of a dark turn.
Right? That's what I love. We always get these like twisty turns.
No, just the description of her playing with this other child, and as she slowly kind of noticed these things, she didn't notice at first because she's just happy to have a little playmate like that, never speaking or never coming into her yard. That's building a bit of tension. I mean, this is almost like a well-written horror script.
Yeah, right?
For
I
real.
can see this being like a creepy short film.
Yeah, totally.
Her immediate reaction was that some strange man or a boy followed me into the bathroom somehow without her noticing, and she barged into both the men and women's bathrooms, demanding anyone in them come out. There was no one in either, and there was no way for them to get out of either bathroom without her seeing them. That was the last time I saw the boy. Weeks later, my mom had uncovered a tote in the basement while doing some spring cleaning that had her old photo albums from her childhood in them. We were sitting in our dining room table flipping through the pages as she told me stories from when she was my age, when I rested my eyes on a school picture of a little boy. I pointed to it and told my mom that the little boy in the photo was the boy I played with outside and the boy I had seen in the bathroom. She says that in that moment, her stomach was in her throat. That photo was of her little cousin who passed away when he was 9 years old, when my mom was 12.
Oh my gosh.
These albums had been packed away for a decade, and I had never even known my mom had a cousin who passed away. Still to this day, I've never seen him again, but I will always be curious why or if that was actually him.
Damn.
Whoa.
Damn, Lena.
She's looking forward to hearing your thoughts, Dylan.
She done blew my mind. Well, my thoughts are, I think you had some kind of at the very least, a multi-dimensional experience. Certainly planes of energy meeting and melding. The veil thinned up there for that moment in time. What do you think, Heather?
Yeah.
I think it's
I mean, that's a pretty wild story. I could see, like I said, this being some sort of like horror short.
Yeah.
There was definitely that kind of suspense.
It has
leading
that
up.
finish too.
And then the weird finish. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you,
Wow.
Lena. Thank you for
Dylan,
sharing
this
that.
is not the first time I've heard a story like this, where someone has maybe encountered an apparition, a ghost, a person, and then come to find out later.
Right.
Wait a second, that's the person when you see them in a picture.
Yeah.
And you find out there's some connection to your family.
Well, I think it actually adds credence to your experience, if you will, because there's that gives the reason that it's happening, that the reason that this spirit or energy is reaching out to you, trying to make a connection.
There are so many unexplainable things in this world, and I'm here for it.
I don't know what happened.
Also, maybe this little boy kind of came to you, connected to you at a period when you needed someone.
I think a lot of
Right?
times that possibly that is why people have experiences, because they need to have that experience, because it's to enrich their lives in a certain way, or show them something, or show them another path.
So you're saying when my sleep paralysis demon is breathing like 1 inch from my face and terrifying me, it's for a reason. Okay, noted.
That's just your sleep anxiety.
Noted.
Thanks, sleep demon.
This is here to warn me not to spend too much money at the next week's cyber sale.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Okay, Dylan, are you ready to get into the next one?
Yeah, I think so. Now I'm look, Lena just primed my pump, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
This sounds a little
I'm just saying.
risque.
We have a full draw coming through her now, son.
Hi, Heather and Dylan. Glad you got your rig fixed. Well, funny you should mention that.
No, she's being fixed.
She's being fixed. And then we're back to our travels. Well, that's debatable.
More to come on that.
Here's a story for y'all. This happened back in 2012 when we lived near Greensboro, North Carolina. I had a group of folks that I would mountain bike with, and I was mountain biking 4 to 5 times a week. Wow.
I got to say, hey, Greensboro Renee.
That's impressive.
4 to 5 times a week.
Yes.
That-
I've been threatening to get a bike for some time now.
You just...
I think mountain biking would be really fun. It's something I've never gotten into, but I know people who do it and they seem to really enjoy it. I love being out in nature, being active. Honestly, I've just always been too lazy.
Well,
biking seems hard.
it's very, it is, but it is a lot of fun. And when people get
Yeah.
into it, they really enjoy it. And I think with the mountain biking, you get kind of meld multiple things,
Yeah.
nature, physical activity, and just
Go downhill real fast.
every single time I set my big head on a bike, it makes me feel like a kid again.
You've put your head on the bike?
My big head is attached to my body.
You mean you don't actually just like physically put your whole body on the bike?
Yeah,
it's
just
your
my
big
head.
head.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's
But it always makes me feel
Unique.
like I'm a kid again. It brings back memories of riding a bike as a young
Dylan,
person.
my question is, when do you not feel like a kid? I think the real question is, at what point do you feel like an adult? Because I think for the most part, you feel like a kid in just about everything that you do.
Well, let's see. That's wow. That I'll have to put some thought into that because there's no easy answer for that, Heather. Because
You're just a big kid.
I'm 46 going on 22.
You're 46 going on 12.
12?
Yeah.
12's more fun than 22, I got to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're still
Especially now that you're not drinking anymore.
Well, yeah, I was
Now you ain't making them slurries.
I was a raging drunk at 12-year-old. Yeah.
Well,
I wasn't.
that could explain a lot about your brain development.
No, I'm not making any more speech slurries. I actually responsibly drank last night, and it's fun.
Well, congratulations. Let's get back to this.
Yeah.
So this happened to be a weekend ride at Country Park in Greensboro. I am notoriously late for everything, so by the time I arrived, the parking lot at the trailhead was full, so I drove back by the tennis courts to park. Met my people, and off we went on our ride. A couple hours later, I returned to the parking lot because my friends had decided to do another loop, but I needed to get home to my family and cook dinner. Now, this lot is infamous for cars being broken into. I never park there if I can help it. It's a big lot that connects to another big lot, and I'd estimate it can hold about 100 cars or more. Okay, that is a big lot.
That's a pretty big
That is
lot.
a big lot. I was parked about the middle row of the first section. The tennis courts are right at the front, but they are below the parking level. You can hear the people playing out, but only kind of faintly.
Right.
In the distance. I'm assuming you can hear the tennis players. You can hear the people playing, like I said, only faintly. My car was facing the courts with another row behind me and then woods. In front of me was 2 rows of parked cars. As I rode into the lot, I scanned it but saw no one. I could hear folks in the courts but couldn't see anyone because of the wall and entrance that separates the courts from the parking area. I rode to my car and started to load my bike onto the bike rack. As I'm doing this, out of the corner of my left eye, I sense movement and turn to see this guy walking down my row in my direction. First red flag for me is where did he come from, and instantly I'm on high alert. It was like he just appeared.
See that when you don't see someone coming, then they're just there. That's always disconcerting.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just like, where were they at? Were they hiding under a car?
I want to make effort to alert someone I'm there. I'm going to do something to, I don't want to freak anybody out.
All I gotta do is be me, and they see me coming from half a mile away.
Well, it's that big head.
It's me talking to.
It's like they're like, is that the Goodyear blimp? And they're like, oh, it's just Dylan's big head floating over the cars.
Yeah, my disembodied.
Because
big
you're
head.
so tall at exactly 6 feet that you lie about.
Well, I mean, if you want me to say it's a little bit more, I mean, I don't make tape measures. I don't know.
I think with your hair sticking up, you probably are 6 feet.
Look, I've got an admission to make. I had a physical recently, and I think her thing was broken, but she claimed I was 5'10" and a half. But that just can't be right because she wasn't taking her time to make sure I was standing up straight. She just took the measurement. I wasn't even ready. Right? You know what I'm saying? My abs weren't engaged. I felt like I was slouching. So I want to go back and do it again. I want to be ready this time.
Look, we have to get a divorce because I can't be married to a short man.
I know that I'm 6 foot.
You're short.
I'm 6 foot on Tinder.
But a little guy.
And I'm certainly
I
not.
I believe 5'10" and a half.
I'm certainly not that far off of it. There's not any chance that I've shrank that much in my life.
Cool. Well, you know what? If I added 5 inches, I could be 5'8". So I'm not that far off.
That would be a lie, though. All right, back to it.
All I can think is that he was behind the dumpster. Okay. Just hanging out behind the dumpster.
Which does not make you feel any less nervous.
No. Over in the corner because my head is always on a swivel and I didn't see him coming from the tennis courts or the entrance to the lot. Second red flag, he's looking into the cars as he walks by. He looks at me and I look at him and hold his gaze as in I see you gesture.
I see you over there.
I'm really bad to give people the I see you.
Yeah.
One day it's probably not going to work out well for me.
Well, no, there's been times in my life just making that eye contact, that good direct eye contact, and you hold it until they look away. That really gives you the upper hand in situations.
I want you to know that I know what you're up to.
Yes,
Exactly.
I know that you know that I know.
Yep.
What you know.
Well, this is working in this situation as well.
Yeah, get it, girl.
I continue loading my bike and I watch his reflection in the rear window of my station wagon as he passes behind me. I'm looking for anything I can use to hit him in his face if he makes even the slightest move toward me. See, I like this.
This is how my mom disciplined me as a child. That's true. Ask Miss Kathy.
Oh, I don't know.
Slightest move, you're going to catch it.
I don't know if we should laugh about that.
Catch some hands. Hey. It made a good, well-rounded adult. I respect authority.
Did it?
Yeah,
You
eventually.
do not respect authority at all. He looks me up and down, not like in an appraising way, but as if he's sizing me up. Next to my car is an empty space on the right, and then this little Econo box car that seems to be his. I'm calm, but also stupid. He opens the driver's side door and leaves it wide, then goes around to the passenger side and starts digging through a backpack. I'm changing out of my fucking clipless riding shoes into my sneakers, and instead of just jumping into the driver's seat and bolting out of there barefoot, probably good, right?
Yeah.
But the stupid part of me doesn't want to show this asshole any fear. I've got one eye on him and he's still digging. I calmly get out of the back seat, move to the front, start the car, and drive away slowly, staring at him as I back out and drive past him. See, I like this. You got to establish dominance.
Oh my gosh.
He's just standing there staring at me. It was a 30-minute drive to get back home where I promptly got on Facebook, our mountain biking forum, and the park page to alert any women to be on the lookout for this shithead. The guys that I rode with said that from now on, someone would always accompany me back to my car so I wouldn't be in that situation alone again. Unfortunately, there was nothing the cops could do because he hadn't done anything to me. We even had a cop riding with us and he confirmed nothing could be done. But my spidey senses were tripped and I know that shithead was up to no good. I don't know if he was working up the courage to rape me or kidnap me, but luckily for me, I made it home safely. You can be aware, but if you do stupid shit, you can win stupid prizes. I know everything I should have done, and I'm still amazed I'm not being mistaken for some mannequin in a drainage ditch somewhere.
Wow.
Learn from my stupidity and just get the fuck out if you can. If anyone from Greensboro is listening to your show and hears the story, they'll know who I am. Stay safe on your travels, and this is signed Blue.
Blue. Thank you. Look. In my head, I developed his perspective, the shithead in the parking lot's perspective. He has a story of this time he was just trying to go to his car and this chick scared him by giving him the evil eye the whole time.
She was giving me evils.
In his story, he wasn't sure if she was an okay person, and he was digging in the backpack trying to find that mace that his grandmother had given him for Christmas because he thought at any minute she was going to be all over him because
he was going to end up in the trunk of her car.
She was exerting such BDE towards him that he has a story to tell of this time this woman scared him in a parking lot.
And he tells people, I was almost kidnapped.
I'm not sure what she wanted to do to me.
She wanted to shove me in the trunk with her bike.
But every time I looked at her, she was looking at me with a hard, like a Denzel Washington.
She made me feel like a piece of meat.
Yeah, a cold stare, like she could just didn't care if I existed anymore.
Let's hope. What I mean, this is creepy.
Yeah, no. But in all seriousness, I think you played it correctly, Blue.
I think maybe more women than not have had some experience like this where you felt uncomfortable
threatened
and intimidated by someone.
Yes.
In a public place.
Yes.
You know, whether it's a park, a grocery store. I think we've all probably encountered
your home,
some strange person,
somebody in your
gives
family,
you the heebie-jeebies, right?
And any time I live by this, even men get this too. That gut feeling something's
ain't
not
right.
right, something ain't right, you go with it. You never ignore it, because that is on the primal, instinctual, evolutionary level of your being, and it's not wrong. It's
fuck being nice, fuck being
yes,
friendly.
fuck societal constructs and modern day BS. That is the animalistic part of you. It's no different than a deer hearing something in the wood and popping up and looking and running off, just in case that was a predator. So you always follow your gut instincts.
I told you this story, Dylan, not that long ago. I was at this walking trail, and it kind of cuts by a lake and a river.
Yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful trail. It's outside, gorgeous, but there is a part that is quite wooded.
Yeah.
And secluded. Like, if there's no one around, I mean, you're kind of like, okay, I'm in the middle of the woods by myself on this trail. So I'm alone, and I'm walking Rufus, and encounter a fisherman kind of by the river, and me just naturally am like, hey, how you doing? You know,
I always speak.
We always speak. I don't want to be like too weird. But this guy's just like sitting there doing his fishing, and then I was like, hey, how are you? And kind of walked past him and got to this area where there are these like natural kind of steps that you walk up kind of away from the water.
Right.
And as I get there, of course, Rufus is doing his little sniffy thing and maybe peeing. I don't know. Maybe not.
I might poo. I might pee.
Sometimes he just pretends he's peeing.
He doesn't pretend pee.
But, you know, ridiculous. Rufus was being Dylan. He was dilly-dallying. And this dude's just turned and like staring at us for like a prolonged period while I'm fooling with the dog.
So it's not a casual glance. It's not throw your hand up as you go by.
No, I mean, I felt like he was like, oh, here's a woman by herself. You know what I mean? Like, I got that vibe from him.
He's taking an interest in you, is what you're feeling.
And
like.
I thought, little do you know, fucker, I'm about to pull this knife out of my pocket.
He doesn't know you have like 6 weapons on you.
Well, that's the truth. I was like, I got this little pig sticker in my pocket. So, okay. But it was weird. And it just kind of gave me the and maybe I'm just being paranoid because, you know, I'm always in my true crime mind waiting for Jason to jump out with his machete or whatever.
You're taking note of details. You're looking at license tags.
It was weird.
Yeah.
I just felt like he was staring. It was just a very uncomfortable kind of stare for more than a normal amount of time.
You said as you gotten on past this person, he kind of came back from
he's like
that water's edge.
Turning, like watching. Yeah.
Now he's kind of like coming your way a little bit.
It was weird.
Yeah.
I got away quickly. But I had my head on a swivel.
You know, I think a really, your little pig sticker, as we call it, which is just a tiny little.
I have a little boot knife.
Gosh, it's like a little, I don't know, 3.5-inch blade maybe.
It's sharp as hell.
It's super sharp, double-sided, and it's very, very small. And I think that that's a really great self-defense weapon.
Well, I have like a little shoulder bag thing I carry, you know, with Rufus's little bags and like water bowl and some little treats and bug spray, you know, pepper spray.
Yeah.
And I usually keep my little knife in there. But for some reason that day, I put it in my pocket because my thought was if somebody comes up, I can just quick grab it and
start stabbing them.
Yeah.
The reason I think it's a great weapon is because
I'm neurotic.
People wouldn't see it. And it's say someone ran up and grabbed you and you do get your hand on this and you start poking, they're going to get off of you. It may not, you know, completely murder them. But when you start putting holes in people 2 and 3 inches into their body very deeply, very quickly, and you just keep on poking until they get the hell off of you. And they're going to. It doesn't matter how big they are. You start getting someone in the gut or around the ribs with that, they're going to get to moving.
Well, that's what's, I guess, disheartening is especially, you know, if you're female, being alone on a trail at a park. You do find yourself sometimes, and I know it's because predators are like, where can I go find some, you know.
They go hunting.
But it's creepy.
And it's a shame.
It's sad that we can't just go enjoy nature or go, you know, like be out doing the things we want to do without having to live in fear that Ted Bundy's waiting in his Volkswagen or in his tiny car. I'm thinking it's one of those little, like, tiny smart cars.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame that most women, like you said, I'm going to say most women have an experience like this. Some men, too, but unfortunately, in this society, around the world, you find more women with an experience like this or even worse experience than you find that have never had an experience like this.
Have you had an experience where you felt like you might get snatched up?
No. Well, you know, it's one part...
Nobody wants to snatch you, Dylan.
Look, it's one part...
it's because you're the unit.
Well, I wasn't going to say that because I think people maybe that's too much with the unit thing. But I was going to say I'm not a small guy. Okay. I'm not a huge guy either.
You got that big head.
I have a big head, and I always got to think about what they're going to do with the head afterwards. And that's going to be like a pain in the ass. I'm not a small guy. I'm been fat most of my life, but I'm still kind of broad-shouldered. I guess I wouldn't say I'm an alpha, but maybe
I'm sorry, I dozed off. What?
Apex predator. I'm not sure. I think there was a song last night about me at the punk show. But no, I'm
napping. Will you just wake me up when you're done?
I'm done now. But the other half of that is I'm goofy and I don't have situational awareness, and I may not have even noticed if it was about to go down because you and my friends have pointed out that I kind of go around looking la 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 la, and people could probably get me if they wanted to.
You're like a perfect candidate to be robbed,
right,
or thrown into a candy van.
But what they realize is when they grab me,
all somebody would have to do is be like, hey, we've got like a chili dog in here and a monster, and Dylan would be like, okay, wow, that sounds like a good deal.
Can we have lunch after this?
I'm gonna get in the van. You're offering to take me to Costco so I can get a $1.50 hot dog and a drink? I'm there, bro. And you just get right in.
Let's go, dude.
That's how I lured you away.
All right, so thank you for that, Blue, and I'm glad you made it.
No, right?
Nobody's gonna get over on Blue.
Dear Heather and Dylan, I've written into the show before with a listener story about noodles falling from the sky and hitting our car. I remember this story.
This story was a long time ago, and I have
it's probably been like 2+ years.
I have bad memory, but I remember that story because if I take the story at face value, it would be one of the very strangest experiences of my life to just have random food fall and hit my car from nowhere. And
yes, this person was driving.
Yes.
Maybe with their husband, I think.
It was either husband or kids.
And noodles just like fell out of the sky and hit their windshield.
And there was nobody else around.
No explanation for this.
There was no cars. There was no other people. And if it didn't come from out of a passenger airplane up high, which for some reason they're having like a noodle fight, I guess, and they're dumping extra noodles. Where the hell did the noodles come from? So I do remember this story because it was so weird.
Somebody didn't like the beef stroganoff and she just tossed the noodles.
They have a news story for us, folks, and I can't wait for you to hear it.
Okay.
Preface it.
I about peed myself reading the story before, so let me try to make it through this, Dylan. Okay. Still not sure how the heck that happened, but then we don't either.
The noodles.
Easter weekend, my husband and I went to visit our in-laws. Oh, wait a second. I think this is this is a different story. This is a good one, though.
Okay.
This is a different one from
what you told me about?
Yeah.
Okay, but this is
No, this is a good one, too.
Okay.
Because this is like, what? Okay. Sorry. Got my stories mixed up. We have so many good ones this episode that I'm just like, whoa. Okay. So Easter weekend, my husband and I went to visit our in-laws. While we were there, I had a chance to meet some of his extended family, including great aunts, uncles, and cousins that I'd only met at our wedding. It allowed me to get to know his family a bit more during this 4-day trip. We went to supper at his great aunt's house. While there, she started recalling a family drama that everyone knew about. Later, I asked my husband why he had been keeping such juicy gossip from me. My mother-in-law and her sister started talking about different relatives, funny stories, and stuff when they got to a tale about their grandmother. She would be my husband's great-grandmother, a woman named Edna. Edna was from an extremely wealthy family, and sad to report, no, we didn't inherit any of her family money. Edna, they said, was a proud, prudent woman. She was traditional. When my mother-in-law and her sisters were young girls, Edna paid for them to go to finishing school.
Oh, is that where they teach you like etiquette?
I think so.
And things like
Obviously,
that?
I did not go to finishing school.
I got finished before they had school.
Edna was married to her husband for many years, but they did not have a happy union. It was said her father arranged the marriage to the son of a business partner. They had 4 children, one of which was my husband's grandfather. It was shocking when it was discovered that Edna was having an affair with a male house servant.
Damn, Edna.
Who also happened to be African American, also more scandalous.
Oh my gosh.
Her husband, Arthur, did not want anyone to find out because it would ruin their reputation. From what I understand, this was sometime maybe in the 1930s or 1940s. To save face, Arthur fired the man. He also told Edna he was sending her to live in another state where they owned property. Her, quote, punishment was that she could no longer live in that town where she might see her lover.
You will never see the dark lover again, Edna.
Why does this sound like this sounds like some cracker shit from like the 30s or 40s.
I bet he was handsome too.
Don't this sound like some cracker shit?
I bet her lover was a looker.
Probably.
And I bet he was something else.
Well, he's probably at least nice to her. Her husband probably a dickhead.
He gave her the appropriate attention that Edna had been seeking out all of her life with her dickhead husband.
So let's get back to this.
All right.
Edna was worried the lover would tell others about the affair.
Yeah.
She didn't want to leave her home, the kids, her friends, etc. Edna accidentally ran over the man and killed him. Well, okay. So this takes a turn.
Wait, so Edna killed her lover?
Yes.
So she wouldn't have to leave?
She had intentionally driven over to the, quote, wrong side of town, according to my mother-in-law. His family said she had called him outside. Then moments later, she was speeding off and he was dying in the road.
Oh, my God.
Of course, Edna was never charged with the crime due to her status. Arthur didn't send her away. Everyone in the family knew she had purposefully murdered that man. Okay, this is when Edna is a psycho bitch.
Damn, Edna, look, I was
on board with you, Edna, until,
I was in your corner.
Come on, Edna.
And no, I'm not.
The two women said they had heard from others that Arthur had paid some money to the victim's family to keep them quiet. And since they were poor, knowing they would never get justice and felt threatened, they took the money and forgot about the crime. My mother-in-law and her sister said other relatives joked about never riding in the car with Edna. She lived to a ripe old age in her 90s. My husband says he sort of remembers meeting her when he was a small boy, but by that time she was frail and had dementia. Anyway, I thought I might tell you guys because it makes for a good story. You can use it or not. Janie.
Janie?
No, Janie, we're using it.
Oh, my God. That was your people did that?
Her husband.
Her husband's people?
Great-grandmother.
Damn, Evan was cold, man. She's like, look, we had fun. Come out here and talk to me about it. No, come here. Wait, I think I dropped something up under the rear end of the car. Will you retrieve it for me one last time? Do me that.
I was kind of team Edna, like, good girl, you're getting yours until
he got his.
Until
she didn't want to move. So instead of addressing the assholishness of her husband, because let's be honest, that was ridiculous. But it was of the time, unfortunately.
This is some bullshit. Yeah,
Edna came up with this plan.
This is some of that time bullshit.
Edna's like, okay, see, now I got to get serious because this is really fucked up. They should have murdered this man, and the family couldn't even get justice because they knew there would be no jury. It would be a white jury. They would never get justice in the court of law. And so the man pays them off, basically puts a value on the life of their loved one.
This is fucked up.
This is like this could be a movie. This is some cold shit.
It is.
Damn.
Now I feel sad.
Damn, thanks, Janie. No, for real.
I guess I forgot that story took a bad turn.
Hey, look.
Like I said, I do peruse them, but
I really meant thank you for sharing that. I mean,
I also feel hungover, and all I did was just stand around, so
I'm
not in my right state of mind today.
You brought us back to reality.
It's called I'm old and tired. Okay, Dylan.
Thank you for sharing that, Janie.
Let's get to our next story.
I'm heading to some shit.
Okay. This is the story I was thinking about because it is
good. Because that was a heavy one. I'm glad we had it. This is the levity.
Brace yourself, bud. Oh my gosh, you guys, every time I listen to your podcast, I start laughing hysterically, no matter where I am, and people look at me like I'm crazy. Now my coworkers say, oh, quote, you must be listening to your podcast because they know I'm a Mountain Murders fan. Biggest fan.
Wow, thank you.
I've caught up on the catalog of episodes and sometimes go back to re-listen to my favorites. The jokes between you two are some of the funniest shit I've ever heard. Well, thank you. When people say it feels like hanging out with your two besties, they ain't lying.
We hear that a lot.
So sweet. Sometimes I worry I might be in public and pee my pants because I'm giggling so hard. See, I know exactly what that's like. And no, I may pee my pants reading this story, Dylan, because it's something else.
I done emptied my bladder. I got ready for this. And
on an episode a while back, you guys talked about the trashiest people you've ever known. And Dylan told the story about the ratty family who got a new house and ruined it in 5 minutes. I have one that might even top that for trashy stories. We are here for a good trashy story. We want to know about the trashiest people that you've ever met.
That's a shout out to the Dyson family.
We love it. We live for it.
They don't know of me, so I can say their name. I don't care.
This is a long story, so if you need to take things out, that's perfectly fine. No, we'll never censor you.
Heather brings these stories unedited to the listeners. You just know that.
About 10 years ago, I was in nursing school program at a community college. I didn't go to school right after high school because, like an idiot, I married my high school sweetheart who joined the Air Force. At 18, I moved across the country to be with him. He went on deployment, had an affair with another airman, and left me for her when he got back. Okay, well, that sucks.
And unfortunately, Heather's told me that's kind of happens a lot in this armed services, which is very unfortunate.
It's a tough life.
It's a tough life, and it really goes against human nature's relationships, what we need from relationships, and it makes it hard.
It was a terrible time in my life, but that's a story for another time. My mom had warned me against getting married so young and not having a career of my own, all the things a mother would tell her dumb kid daughter who thought she was in love. I come back home, enroll in school, get a crappy job, and eventually move into a place with a roommate. Life was getting better. I met a nice guy, reconnected with old friends, made new friends in my nursing program. Everything was getting better. One day, when I was leaving class in the medical science building, I bumped into a girl I had known in middle school. We'll call her Beth. She recognized me, but it took me a few minutes to remember her. She was more like a friend of my friend back then, and although I did recall going to her 13th birthday party, she told me how she was doing the dental program. We were in classes on the same days. She got my number, and we started hanging out a little bit, like grabbing lunch after school, stuff like that. A few times, Beth invited me to go out with her friends. On Saturday nights, the town we lived in had these music events with dances down at the park, and we went to one or two of those. I think I may have gone to a party with her and maybe a nightclub. To be honest, Beth was kind of rough around the edges, but she was nice enough. I grew up around a lot of people like that, that kind of give off, low-class vibes.
Hey, they can be great people to be around, honestly. It can be a lot of fun.
Well, she adds, I know you guys know what I mean. We know what you mean.
There's the ins and outs to it.
Her friends that I met were not the kind of people I'd hang around with either. They were just kind of trashy, to be honest, partied too much, get into fights, had boyfriends in jail, or had been in jail themselves at some point. I didn't try too hard to be nice to her friends, I'll admit. She talked often about her fiancé, but I never met the guy. They were engaged and supposed to be getting married. She told me a lot about the wedding plans. They were getting married on some land. I don't know if it was family land or whatever. She told me they were doing a pig roast for the reception. It was this outdoor kind of party. I mean, to be honest, that sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, I've been to many a pig picking and for various reasons, and they're great. You're going to have good food. And I got to say, there's one of the dividing lines between couples and people that hang out, friends, whatever, is how hard you party. Okay, how hard you hang out. Or how low key you are. So a lot of people just chilling. And it doesn't take you very long to see if there's contradictory levels to this. If you're the person who parties, now I've done this before. I've been the one who maybe parties a little harder than people around me, and not being insane or crazy. Just I'm the get there fast kind of guy. I'm come ready is what I've been called. Because when I show up, I'm already toasted. You get it, right? Yeah, because he comes.
You're not the kind of person I'm going to hang out with.
No. Okay, see, you wouldn't hang out with me.
I draw the line.
Old me.
No, I don't know why I married you. You're not even somebody I'd hang out with.
Well, you would now, though. Right.
Well, maybe now that you're on your best behavior.
Yeah, this feels good. Anyway, go ahead. So Beth.
I like being a square.
So Beth and her friends go hard. Is what I'm getting from this. A little bit.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make them bad people. It's just different than what some people's used to.
Well, yeah. Okay. Fast forward to the wedding.
Oh, my God.
She had invited me. No invitation, I might add. Just a verbal invite to the wedding. I wasn't sure what to expect with the pig picking and all, and asked her what I should wear because this is no formal evening event, and if I'm just out on some land, is it muddy? Can I wear heels? Is there a tent and a floor? I don't know. She tells me I can wear, quote, church clothes, which I assume just means a dress. I settle on a pretty sundress.
Your good clothes. Your pair of pants that don't have a hole in it. I need you to wear your clean boots. Your clean work boots.
So for me, I guess this would be wear the sweatpants without the bleach stains.
Yes.
Okay.
I like that. Is there going to be a tent? Will we be received? Is there valet parking? The answer is no.
Yeah, will there be like a trumpeter who like announces me?
A herald? Yes. Okay.
The Packers arriving.
May I give you Heather and Dylan Packer of House Packer?
And they like, they're curtsying and stuff.
Thank you.
We walk up and we do like a line.
This is
shaking hands.
Yeah, as you're introduced to the entire court.
Yes.
This is what I would expect when I arrive at a wedding.
So this is not Marie Antoinette's court is what we're gathering. Okay. Okay, so I settle on a pretty sundress, but wear a pair of flat sandals because I don't know what to expect. Get to the wedding, and there's rows of pickup trucks and igloo coolers. People are drinking beer. It's kind of like a tailgate. There are a limited number of folding chairs, borrowed from some relative's church, I'm told. A lot of people have brought their own camping chairs. I'm not kidding when I say there are men, groomsmen, walking around in black jeans with no shirts on. I take a seat and watch this unfold. The groom was also shirtless, wearing black jeans, and has a bunch of bad tattoos like barbed wire and skeletons, but not like well done at all. Which I'm like, okay, some barbed wire and skeletons. I mean, that could be cool, right?
Hey, you take that back about that 90s tribal.
Dylan.
I'm going to get cover up soon.
Dylan. He also had a big tattoo across his shoulders that said, misunderstood.
Oh, my gosh.
Shit you not.
Yes.
It was soon apparent to me that I was an outlier among this crew. There were kids running around with no shoes on, dirty, unbrushed hair, with no adults watching them.
Those were trailer kids.
You won't even believe me. Well, we know plenty of good trailer kids.
Well, I didn't say they were bad.
It's just because you grew up a trailer kid,
That's the bottle throwing kids. Oh, God. Okay, I'm sorry.
You won't even believe me with what happens next. Now, eventually the wedding is about to begin. The groom and his groomsmen have now put on wrinkled white button-up shirts.
They must have been getting their shirts pressed.
They did not take the time. No, it does not sound like these shirts got pressed at all, Dylan. And somebody has a boombox at the front playing music as Beth marches in with a man I'm later told is her stepdad.
That was the PA system. Thank you very much.
He looks like a character from a Wrong Turn movie and is wearing ratty jeans with a sleeveless shirt. He was holding a beer before they started walking down the aisle, and someone took it from him before they began the wedding march.
Here, hold my beer. I got to give this gal away quick.
His like sleeveless, cut out sleeveless t-shirt. I'm just picturing this.
It's the camo edition Busch Light can in
I
a
just
koozie.
have to say, she is doing a phenomenal job. The visual descriptions, I'm picturing it.
I've been to this place before.
I can see it.
Yes.
I've been to almost this wedding.
I can smell it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The wedding I went to, there were a bunch of like dogs running around.
And jugs of moonshine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And somebody had a possum, yeah.
Somebody had sawed some logs in half, and that's what we sat on.
Well, why not? That's a perfect bench.
I mean, it was a fun wedding, I'm just going to say. Anyway, let's get back to this. Beth is decked out, at least in comparison to everyone else. The three bridesmaids, her friends, are wearing these flip-flops with their sort of short prom sequin dresses, but at least they match.
Yeah, they all got together. They decided on a motif, if you will.
They went to Ross.
And they went with it.
They found three matching cocktail dresses.
And there were three for $12, which is okay.
Good for them.
Go for them.
I'm all about budget weddings because it's ridiculous to spend $50,000.
Oh, that's certainly true. And I've been budget balling all my life.
We're about 5 minutes into the ceremony when out of nowhere, a woman wearing a tank top and cut-off shorts shows up, followed by an older woman and a younger guy who I found out later this is her mother and brother. The tank top girl runs up the aisle.
I bet it's a spaghetti string tank top.
Cussing and hollering about stop the wedding. Of course, everyone is watching in disbelief, watching in disbelief. As if this was the most shocking thing they'd seen at the event, which I guess it was, but the whole afternoon had been something special.
Yeah, but, well, to them, it's a normal day, I'm going to guess. But look, I've always wanted to be.
At a wedding where someone says stop
When
the
they
wedding.
say either stand up and say something now or forever hold your peace.
I'm letting my piece go.
And somebody's like, I got my piece right here, you son of a bitch. And then that, because you know it's going to be drama. Because you know it's going to be something big. And this is, go ahead.
I've never been to a wedding where someone stopped the ceremony.
I'm saying, I always wanted to do it.
This would be great, right? The groom, okay, quote, Tommy. I'm assuming she's changed all the names.
No, you know what's the best, right quick, what's the best part of this? Is she's finding out who's who as this stuff's unfolding. It really adds a flavor to it.
Okay, let me get through the story, Dylan.
Yes.
Quit interrupting me, please.
Sorry.
The groom, Tommy, starts yelling at the girl, Charlene, to go on. Now her mama is cussing too. The brother runs up like he's going to fight the groom, and that's when the groomsmen jump in. A brawl breaks out.
Oh my gosh.
Beth is standing there with her mouth on the floor / grassy dirt. I mean, probably not sure what to think.
She's dumbfounded.
Other men jump up trying to separate the fight that's happening. In the meantime, the other girl, Charlene, in the cutoff shorts, is screaming, cussing. She's yelling at Beth, who starts screaming back at her. By now, it's clear Beth and this woman have maybe some kind of history. Now it's complete chaos with all these drunken guests fist fighting.
Oh my God.
I know I need to get out of there. Sometime during the bedlam, someone must have called the police because it's not long before sheriff's deputies show up.
I knew it was not going to be city police show up at this venue. I knew it was going to be sheriff.
This is going to be county cops.
It's going to be 45 minutes later the sheriff shows up. Oh my gosh.
Chairs are being thrown. I've made my way to the back area of the grass where the cars are parked. I know I should get out of there because it's getting dangerous at this point. What if somebody pulls out a gun or something? I knew someone in that crowd likely had at least a shotgun in their truck.
Hey, some bitch, those chairs came from the Baptist Fellowship Community Center.
Don't you break that chair.
Don't you break them chairs. I got to have them back by 6 p.m. for the nightly service.
Charlene and Beth are now in a fist fight. Beth's stepdad is trying to break it up, but he's about 100 years old and drunk. The bridesmaids are fighting with Charlene's mother and brother, who are also beating up the groomsmen.
Wait, she brought backup. Charlene
brought her mama and her brother.
In the jean shorts, brought her mama and her brother, and they were here to make a stand.
This is how I'm going to interrupt a wedding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be comfortable.
You're gonna be.
You want them jean shorts because you need, Dylan, you know this, you need to have freedom of movement.
You need, this does require tactical response.
You need to be as comfortable
in a full range of motion.
Yes, as possible. You got to have like breaking up a wedding gear on. Okay?
And this is also like something that
I hope she has on some good running shoes.
You could show some of your ass like during the fight. I mean, this is perfect attire
a titty
for a
might
fight.
pop out.
Always. I'm always wondering if that will happen.
A few guests jump in. I'm telling you, I have never seen anything like this. When the officers try to break it up, Charlene starts hitting the officer, who finally throws her onto the ground. She's cussing him, kicking at him. Her mama's jumping on him. And somehow, I don't know, manages to jump up, free herself, and takes off running.
It's not the first time Charlene's had a tussle with law enforcement.
The cop tasers her as she's yelling, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant with Tommy's baby. Well, you know what? I bet once she gets tased, she ain't yelling that shit, is she?
No, she didn't yell that. This is the big reveal.
By now, more law enforcement has shown up. They won't allow any of us to leave because we're witnesses. An ambulance comes. The paramedic check out the pregnant Charlene before putting her in handcuffs. I had to give a statement before I could go. Beth's crying, yelling, quote, my wedding's ruined. Guests are trying to console her. I left as soon as I could. Later, I heard that Beth and Tommy, despite the brawl, in the news he's going to be a new dad to another woman's baby.
Oh my God.
They got hitched that night, bloody noses and all.
Shut
You
up.
can guess from all this, I did not continue my friendship with Beth. This is the trashiest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. I knew you guys would appreciate it. Kimberly,
I've got to say, this could be a new series developed out of just this one story with all these characters. And the fact, I can just see in my head,
why do I feel like I know these people?
Charlene screaming
But
as she's being tased.
Well, one, she did a great job. I get the visuals.
Yes.
And also, it's relatable because I'm like, I know these people.
Exactly.
I know this family. I know these people. I've been to this wedding, even though I've not been to this wedding. You know what I'm saying, Dylan?
Oh, yeah. And as she's going into full stiff board mode as all her muscles tense up from the 50,000 volts of the tase because she done got out on the cops and they're tired of messing with her. So they're going to tase her, take her down. She's screaming, "I'm pregnant with Tommy's baby." That is pure gold, pure comedy gold. But at the same time, I feel bad for Beth. I really do, because I do know these people, and I know that these types of people, this was their big day.
Look.
And what they were doing, they enjoyed.
Maybe they have built a solid life together. We don't know.
You know what? The fact that they got married later that
Dylan,
evening.
hashtag only God can judge them is all I'm saying.
That's real love. The fact they got married that evening before the subpoenas and the warrants the ink was dry on any of that.
Their love has been tested.
The cross charges did not matter to these people. They still got They still got married, and they helped each other get cleaned up that night on their honeymoon from the wedding fight. Oh my gosh, Kimberly. I do not hold it against you, the fact that you kind of kept Beth at arm's length after that. I think you already knew that this might not be your tribe.
This might not be your element.
Might not be your people.
I have to say, these are my people. So, Beth, if you're out there, you need to call me, girl. I'm here for it.
I want to know what Beth and Tommy are doing now. I want to know how it worked out.
I know, right?
All right.
Dylan, maybe they've built a life together.
They built something. Oh, yeah.
Okay, you ready for another one?
Probably a Kwanzaa hut for their pot plants.
My friend and I went to an old, small cemetery one night because there were stories about it being haunted. We weren't doing anything disrespectful, mostly just bored teenagers who thought we could ghost hunt after watching too many Ghost Adventures episodes. I said it was small. I mean, it wasn't tiny. There were maybe 30 to 40 graves, but it was surrounded by an old rock wall that was at least 4.5 feet tall. There was only one way in and one way out of the cemetery, and a gate which we had come in. I don't know if it was supposed to be locked or not, but it was not locked when we went in.
Okay.
As we're walking around in the dark, a car pulls up to the entrance, shining headlights in on us. It blocked the entrance totally, so the only way we could get out was through the gate or over the fence. The light is shining into our eyes. I'm half covering my face and asking my friend, "Is it the police? I can't tell." The driver just sits in the car watching us. We're frozen there, waiting for an officer or an adult to get out of the car and tell us that we can't be there. After a couple of minutes, my friend asks, "What are they doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Next thing I see is a dark figure, male, raise up out of the seat. It's dark, so I can only make out that he's tall and large.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like, "Oh, shit. Is that a cop?" I can't see him, just the outline. He never says anything, just stands there staring at us. I look over at my friend, who says, "Let's get out of here." And we run to the back of the rock wall, climb over it as fast as we can, and run into the woods behind the cemetery. We're hiding behind some trees. The car just sits there for a few minutes longer. The man finally gets back into the car, but waits as if he thinks we're going to come out of the woods soon. Finally, my friend tells me we're not leaving the woods, and we start walking along the tree line, eventually making our way back down to a railroad track nearby.
Oh, my gosh.
At that point, we know we're not far from my friend's house. We see a car creeping slowly down the road, so my friend grabs me, and we run back into the woods and watch as it passes. I know it had to be the car and the same person because they're driving so slowly as if they're looking for us. I don't know who it was or what was happening, but it made me very nervous. It's one of the times in my life I've been terrified.
Damn.
This is signed Ryan.
Ryan, how could you not be terrified?
It's really creepy.
Look, here's where, so the car pulls up, which you're not expecting a vehicle, I'm sure. But
it's nighttime.
It's nighttime, but the fact they just sit there and they don't instantly get out, that would weird me out.
Well, then how did they know they were there? Like, was this person parked somewhere watching? I mean,
yeah. I
have questions.
And then the fact that it's almost like they're looking for you or know that you're there, even though there's no reason for them to, because you're not in a vehicle, you're just walking.
Yeah, it sounds like they came in on foot or something.
Yeah, and you're just hanging out, which sounds totally cool. I go to cemeteries. I like to go between 12 and 3, 12 midnight to 3 a.m. I've had experiences. Me and Heather's have experiences. Maybe it's our minds. We don't know.
You don't have to tell people those stories.
Anyway, I love it. It's so quiet. It has good energy a lot of times. Sometimes it's an ominous energy. It depends on the cemetery. It truly does, in my opinion. But this car showing up out of nowhere would freak me out, period. Even if they got out and I instantly knew they were normal, I'd still be like, I'd still be a little suspicious. But this happened, these events happening.
This is why Blue has her head on a
This is why Blue don't play, y'all. Blue, the creepy, and then all you see is a silhouette, and all you can tell from the silhouette is it's a man, and they're very tall and large. That's not going to help you feel any better about the situation, right? And then to have the car creeping around like they looking for you after you done bolted and snuck out through the woods. It's too much. I don't blame you for being weirded out. Who would not be? Gosh, Ryan, I'm glad you and your friend were okay. I bet y'all went back to the house and stayed indoors for the rest of the night.
I know.
Yeah, out there trying to
That's
fool
what I was
around
thinking.
in the
It's
dark.
like, I'm betting y'all didn't creep around the cemetery anymore after that, did you?
No more creepy crawlies tonight. Oh my gosh. These are great stories.
That's just the kind of thing that happens to you too when you're, I'm assuming probably teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you said teenager.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that you do.
It is.
And then you have some weird thing and you're like, okay, never again. And you learn a damn lesson real quick, don't you?
It's a life lesson.
Stay your ass at home.
Listen to your parents. Read. Do your schoolwork.
Play tiddlywinks, Dylan.
Tiddlywinks. I'll play some tiddlywinks.
You look like a tiddlywink.
Yeah, I'm neither been tiddlied or winked lately.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Those are some great listener stories, so keep them coming. We love them. mountainmurderspodcast@gmail.com is a great way to get your listener stories to us.
And
We've had folks drop us a line on Instagram. Just send a little DM. I've gotten them through Twitter or X or whatever. So anywhere you want to send them, we'll get them. We'll read them on the show.
Heather finds them. And they always come at the perfect time when Heather needs a bit of a break because she's doing extra research.
Well, no, they come in and then we just hang on to them.
Well, I'm just saying, once you get the episode ready, it's
and
always...
if you sent one and I've lost it in the sauce, I'm sorry.
Just resend it. She promises she'll get it this time.
I promise.
But no, it always comes at a perfect time when you need a bit of a break because you're doing heavy research on the regular week or whatever. Or we just need to have a good laugh.
Well, I just wanted to talk about these because they're such great stories.
It's so great. That was a good run.
We
It's
got
always
a little imaginary ghost cousin.
The wedding.
Playing games.
The red wedding.
The redneck wedding.
The redneck wedding.
I don't even know if I would even call that a redneck wedding.
No,
that was
beautiful. That was beautiful. That was love.
That was like the jail roster wedding.
Blue playing no games. Blue does not like recess at all because Blue does not play games.
Exactly. I'm thinking Ryan don't really play games either because he and his friend were like, nope,
Ryan's
got out of there.
Back on the bench. He done took a dodgeball to the face.
Yes.
He's over gym today and he's over recess and he's going to set the rest of this one out. Oh my gosh, all of those are so great. Thank you. Thank everyone for that. Thank you, Heather, for curating and reading those aloud. And let's keep on moving, man. That was such a good episode.
All right, Dylan. Yeah, we've been late this week with our midweek, so we got us some time this week. Listener stories.
We're just gonna call it a sometime this week.
We do have part 2 of our what are the Wolves of King Street. Of course, we've been talking about the drug ring at the College of Charleston. Crazy story. We're going to be bringing you part 2, the conclusion.
Yes.
So you'll want to check that out. Again, thanks for listening to Mountain Murders.
Thanks for reading Mountain Murders.
Bye.
Bye.